Hello, assalamu alaikum, good morning, khushamdeed, ji ayanu, goeiemorgen.
Pakheragele, ni hao, churushume, washwale, ohai, gazaimes, guten morgen, hola, bonjour, privyet, kaifahal, hale shama chatore, ahlan wasahlan, marhaba, bula, mucho, gracias, fabio, and a very amazing good morning to everybody who's tuned into PTV World and are watching World this morning alongside the very fantastic, the very superb Shahzad Khan and Shiza Hashmi. Hello Shiza, how are you today?
I'm absolutely great, thank you so much. How are you?
Well, I feel great too as well, and I keep on saying that, and it's just because of the fact that I've been going to bed on time. And
oh, it matters so much. Oh my God.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, it does. Obviously, I mean, I feel like 8 or more hours of sleep is the key to having an amazing day. And should I tell you something? I've been sleeping for almost 12 hours yesterday.
12
I don't
hours.
know for what reason, but I did. Other than that, ladies and gentlemen, Jummah Mubarak. Please remember Shahzad, me, and my entire team in your prayers today.
Exactly.
Shahzad, I have a question for you.
Yeah, go ahead.
So lately, whenever I'm going for, grocery or whatever things that I need to buy, I've been having a little issue because, first of all, I use a cab. So it's not that I can keep my things there and go and do my stuff. So I have to carry all of them in my hand. And my handbag actually gets smaller because they're not giving out plastic bags anymore. So if it's like, a kela seb or even a, mosquito spray or something, everything I have to hold in my hands. How are you dealing with it?
All right. Well, thank God, Allah gave me big hands. I think that they're an alternative to a bag as well. But other than that, since it was such a good thing that I think everybody in my home and, everybody I knew, they were very supportive of the fact that, plastic was actually banned.
Yeah.
But yes, initially there was a little bit of difficulty. So then there was a simple solution. I went to one shop and everybody started selling bags. And then this gentleman, he said that, okay, since it's the first time that you've come over, I'm going to give you a bag for free.
Oh, wow.
So from that day onwards, I've actually got
you always carry it with
got
you?
this bag in my pocket. So wherever I stop, I use this bag. It looks like a plastic bag, but ladies and gentlemen, it's not. I think it's probably made out of cloth, but it works for me. And, for people like me, for gentlemen like me, I think that, we're not the ones who actually go to the market to do groceries. Right. So it's always the mothers.
Yeah,
and the best part is, what I've seen growing up is that my mother always used bags which were made out of clothes as well. Because she said that, when you go to Itwar Bazaar or Sunday market, you cannot carry all of that stuff in plastic bags because they do not have that capacity to hold. So she made them by herself as well. But at the same time, ladies and gentlemen, I believe that finally we are the 128th nation who is actually progressing towards ban on plastic.
And Shahzad, I mean, this has been happening for quite some years now. The world is moving towards a time where plastic is everywhere because, first of all, plastic is forever, hashtag.
Yeah.
It's not a good thing, first of all. I mean, imagine you're buying a plastic bag which is going to rot in probably 1,000 years.
Exactly.
So that is not a good thing, first of all. And other than that, this was an article from 1989 I came across, which said that in the next 5 years, the world is moving towards a time where there's no coming back from plastic pollution.
Exactly.
And imagine it's 2019, so just imagine where we are right now.
Exactly. And Shiza, the best part over here is that, back in 1994, Sindh actually adopted the act as well. And then back in 1995, even Punjab actually adopted the same act as well, but it wasn't implemented. And ladies and gentlemen, after 14th of August, we are very glad that, Prime Minister Imran Khan actually gave this direction towards the Ministry of Climate Change as well. And Mr. Zartaj Gul, who's actually done a phenomenal job as well. Because over here in Islamabad, I'm very sure that there are no plastic bags at all which are being used by people.
And not only in Islamabad, yesterday I was in conversation with some of my class fellows and they mentioned, even in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, in so many places over there, not just in the main city, everyone is avoiding the use of plastic bags or even selling them. So ladies and gentlemen, in line with that, we have a small video for you. Let's take a look at this. When we come back, we will discuss further on how to avoid plastic.
Yep.
Every day, people the world over use plastic shopping bags. They're lightweight, hard-wearing. How harmful are plastic bags to the climate? Every year, more than 600 billion plastic bags are manufactured worldwide. 4% of the crude oil consumed globally every year ends up in plastic bags. But oil is a fossil fuel, and supplies are slowly coming to an end. Manufacturing and shipping plastic bags requires large amounts of energy and also causes 60 tons of CO2 emissions every year. On average, plastic bags are in use for just 25 minutes, then they're thrown away. Few of them are recycled. Most plastic bags end up in rivers, on the streets, or in the ocean. And they're tough. Some will take 500 years to disintegrate. That is, if they aren't eaten by wild animals. Plastic bags are life-threatening for wildlife. Some countries have banned plastic bags entirely, while in others, it's illegal to give them away for free. But the best way to help the climate is to use alternatives and forget plastic bags altogether.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, so that was a small report to let people know that how plastic is actually destroying our globe. But other than that, let's be more focused about Pakistan. And when we speak about Pakistan, ladies and gentlemen, back in 1990 until 1991, we almost consumed 1 million plastic bags.
Oh,
and today the figure stands at?
55 billion, yes, per year consumed by the Pakistani people over here. This was a fact given out in a news article I came across early in the morning. And the stats are alarming, Shahzad. 55 billion plastic bags. I mean, it's not funny.
Exactly. It's not funny at all, ladies and gentlemen. And obviously, there needs to be something which needs to be done. And yes, plastic ban. I support plastic ban. And for all of those people who are out there, please stop asking for plastic bags from shopkeepers or wherever you go. But today we've actually been joined by some very amazing guests who are actually going to speak about the technicalities behind it. Because when we speak of it, obviously, I'm sorry for a longer introduction, but there are 8,000 industries who actually manufacture plastic products over here in Pakistan. Almost roughly 1 million families out there, so we really need to give them an alternate for what they used to do, because everybody needs to earn bread as well. We'll speak about all of these issues, but with some very amazing guests. On my right-hand side, ladies and gentlemen, we've actually been joined by somebody who actually felt the need of jumping into the market because of the fact that, I don't know, she's all over the place, and she's made sure that she's actually going to, change the world the way she thinks the world should be. So, ladies and gentlemen, she's a social activist herself. She's none other than Miss Ira Mumtaz. Hello, assalamu alaikum. How are you?
Alhamdulillah. And thanks a lot. As always, it's a pleasure coming to you.
Thank you very much for joining us. Wonderful to have you. Alongside Ma'am Iram, ladies and gentlemen, we have been joined by former director WWF Pakistan. He's none other than Dr. Ejaz Ahmed. Hello, assalamu alaikum. How are you?
Yes, assalamu alaikum. I'm fine. Thank you.
Thank you very much for joining us, sir. It's wonderful to have you. Last but not the least, ladies and gentlemen, it's a longer introduction, but we have been joined by an environmentalist. She's an anthropologist herself. She's the program coordinator at Frederick Naumann Foundation. She's none other than Miss Momi Salim. Hello, assalamu alaikum. How are you?
Walaikum assalam. I'm very good and very energetic. Good morning.
Thank you very much. And it's wonderful to have people on the same energy level as well. But first things first, before I ask you why is plastic so dangerous, how are you guys coping up with plastic ban? Let's start with
We're happy with it.
Okay, with me it's a little different. I have not started coping with it now.
Okay.
As you see, I have these tote bags and other things that I use, and it is not for now. I mean, I have been keeping them in my bag, and as much as I could have reduced my plastic footprint, I have tried to.
Wow.
So I do take, if you go in my room, I have a huge collection of bags of all sizes. And what I really do is, not now, but from before, is that I put them in my bag, in my car or in my bag, and everywhere I go, and people had been, now the awareness has come. But before that, shopkeepers would just look at me startled that why is she, giving her own bag? She's an old school, or I don't know, whatever they would think. But the good part of that was that people in my, Islamabad has this markers in every sector. So I would go to my local market, and every time the shopkeeper, I would not sort of take plastic bags. So his habit changed.
Okay.
And it was like some months ago, he told one of his newcomers, a helping boy, and he was about to give me something in plastic. He said, "Madam doesn't take plastic bags, do not." So it's basically about behavioral change.
Well, that's amazing. I mean, you did definitely make sort of a change, of course. You are the agent of change. And then creating a ripple effect even before it was popular, so you are on the right track. What about you, sir? How have you been coping with this?
Well, I think again, being associated with an organization working on environment, WWF,
Yes.
where I worked for more than 22 years, this is part of the overall philosophy and objective and mission of the organization. Okay. So that actually again trickled down on my daily routine. So using less resources, whether it's water, whether it's energy or any other natural resource. So use it intelligently, and if you need it, then use it. So plastic bag is something that we have not been using. I mean, like, it is a convenient, of course. I mean, like, as you mentioned, if you go into the market to buy milk, so there is no other option. You cannot carry a
Not
bucket.
in your hands.
Yeah. So that has actually, changed the overall sort of behavior of the colleagues within the organization and also within the family as well.
That's great. But sir, very quickly, just when you actually said that, you use your resources very wisely, I could actually think of my father as well, because every now and then he'll come in the room and he'll be like, why is your AC still on? Things like that. So, ladies and gentlemen, we really need to know where our comfort levels are, So, Abuji, probably, you can check your AC and I'll check, keep a check on mine.
But
yeah, it's
Shahzad,
perfect.
speaking of resources, that's a good thing, of course, that your father does.
Yeah.
Because we're not just looking at avoiding plastic or, using plastic, we're also looking at waste management over here.
Right.
I mean, imagine 4 to 12 million metric tons of plastic goes into the oceans every year.
Oh my God.
Wow. I mean,
And
that's insane.
It is insane, ladies and gentlemen, because of the fact that for all of those beings, whom we call maritime, and I think that, who exist in maritime as well, they have a lot of issues, and every now and then we see videos, where a turtle is actually swallowed a shopping bag and the turtle cannot breathe anymore as well. So I think that we really need to look after that as well. But other than that, Ma'am Iram, there's one more thing which I'm wanting to ask, and that is that, so you thought that there's space in the market, there's a void in the market, and then you came up with the idea that you're going to make bags yourself. These are very amazing bags, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm going to pick up my favorite one.
It looks like a frog, so you can convert them into frogs as well. And even other than that, talking about these bags, so they've got plenty of pockets. I know my mother loves a lot of pockets as well. So how was it for you? So you went to the market one day and they said that there are no bags for you, and then you decided, okay, I'm going to make mine.
This has been going on for quite some time, okay? The government, I mean, we kept hearing about it, that there's going to be a ban. So we need to be prepared for that. And as you guys know that we are running this shelter home for underprivileged females. So we are always on a lookout to, look for vocational trades where these women and girls of Islamabad and the neighboring villages, they can, earn a decent living. So when the ban was imposed here in Islamabad, so that became the immediate thing, the alternative. What was the alternative? So I feel that there was a gap in this area. So instead of just telling them one day, fine day, okay, now from 14th August, there's going to be a ban, because this has happened before, and not strict measures were taken, and people were really relaxed. Even this time, they thought that it's going to be the same. Just one order, and everybody's going to forget about it. But this time, mashallah, this present government did an amazing job, and the local government, the MOCC, and all these, I would see this lady going from shop to shop and, checking and having these. So we thought that why not this? And mashallah, this was an instant hit. And then getting the females involved and spreading awareness. Even, like the bag which you picked up, it's pretty fashionable.
It's so cute. I absolutely love it.
So we have, surplus material at home, so this was made by old curtain cloth and bed sheets.
And ladies and gentlemen, it's very hardcore, let me tell you. That there's no way that this bag is actually going to rip off. I mean, you can probably carry a goat in it. That's how strong it is.
So here's the thing, Auntie, or Ma'am Iram, So I know about your organization, Bazisha Trust, and we know how responsible of a citizen that you are. So basically, this is not just bags we're looking at. I mean, I feel like we're looking at three things over here. First of all, employment. You are looking at, the women that sometimes do not even have something to work on or earn money. So you are making them bread for their homes, which is amazing. Number two, upcycling. So basically, it happens at every other house. I mean, even you guys, we have dupattas or kameez, laying around. But sometimes we make pocha out of it, a mop, floor mop.
Or usually it's given away to people who actually work at your place, and that's a good idea.
Yeah, absolutely, so basically you're looking at upcycling as well. And then because this thing has been put in place by the government, so if you're not going to set an example, no one's going to copy you.
Exactly.
So I feel like, first of all, you're doing an amazing job. Congratulations on that. So because of this, we're looking at in Islamabad or eventually a Pakistan without plastic. But imagine if we were living inside a plastic bag. I mean, how would it feel like? We have a video about that. Let's take a look at it and then talk about it.
Just to let you know how it might feel. Running into a plastic bag is careless, but maritime creatures cannot actually help it because, every now and then they might probably think that it's food. And it is very dangerous. And ladies and gentlemen, from centuries, I believe that this has been the trend for all of those industries out there who've actually been producing plastic and then waste of plastic as well, that they've been dumping it into the oceans.
Right.
It is very dangerous as we speak of it, but then at the same time, it is very hard for people to understand. Why is it dangerous? Is it just because of the fact that it's not degradable or decomposable and it takes 1,000 years? Is it just that? Is it dangerous for our soil? Is it dangerous for our environment?
Right.
These are the things we want to build up on. So let's move on to Momi. Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so if I want to categorize, I would say it's harmful for human beings, first of all, because every time you if you don't avoid plastic in your food chain, in terms of actually carrying, as we were talking about, carrying milk or water for that matter or other things, obviously there's leaching of plastic within those, whatever material, whatever food you're taking or whatever liquid you're taking. So it's harmful for human health, first of all. Secondly, human is part of this ecology, right? So the balance has to be there. And human economy, everything is dependent on the natural resources that we use, which includes land, air, water, and these are also commons. It is not owned by anybody and nobody cares about them. So when we use plastic, what happens is that land, all these resources are damaged. And how they are damaged, just the way you showed video, how it actually enters into oceans, and then obviously not only contaminating water, but also stopping water from actually underground water to get recharged.
Yep.
For example, we have seen in these landfills, because we don't have waste disposal, proper waste disposal, management system. So what happens is that when we dump it into land, then it forms a layer. So the natural, processes that obviously if it rains, the soil is going to take in the water and then the groundwater will be recharged. But unfortunately, because of this layer, we are unable to have, and world over now groundwater is depleting, and that's fresh water, which we need for our survival.
Wow.
Likewise for air, obviously it has, because the kind of plastic bags, as you were mentioning, there are 8,000 or whatever manufacturers there, but not all of them are producing high quality plastic bags with the same kind of density. So if the density is low, of course it is going to get into your air, because people say, oh, biodegradable plastics. No, they actually get into pieces and they're out there in your air. They don't actually, just the way you said that it takes 1,000 years, even for those little microplastic to go away, it will take 1,000 years. It's not about it is in its original form. Even if it is in small little particles, it will take 1,000 years. So basically it is in your air and maybe you're inhaling it. And the surprising part that I would like to actually mention here is the doctors have it is so much part of our life that doctors are unable to actually identify that which parts of the body plastic is affecting. So it's actually so much dangerous that maybe now as it is said that in another 10 years we'll have more plastic in oceans than marine life. So it's it's basically we are spoiling our economy, we are spoiling our social life, and we are spoiling our health, everything, ecosystem. So the balance has to be there. So plastic is very much dangerous, but I would actually say a word of caution here. It's inevitable as well. I mean, just that we should not, I mean, because plastic is everywhere. Even in the studio, if you look around, plastic is there. But the point is where we have to use and where we do not have to use, that is what we have to classify.
Absolutely. And thank you so much for informing us, because I'll be honest over here, like a lot of people out there, I didn't know when you said the depleting water level is also sometimes caused by, the amount of plastic that we're using. But keeping that in mind, sir, the around 8,000 factories producing plastic that Shahzad mentioned earlier in the show, what is going to happen to them if Pakistan is strictly going to observe this ban?
Yeah, I think I would like to add a little bit more. There are different type of plastics which are being used. So there is one which is called virgin plastic, and that plastic is basically used. I mean, like, it's not that harmful, and you can use it for different. Even like you can carry milk and products related to milk in that bag. But unfortunately, the problem here is the quality control, because that if that product is not used properly and some of the recyclable material is being introduced in that particular virgin plastic, so then it ruins, it destroys the whole product. Okay. So there are, of course, people which are involved in this industry, and as mentioned earlier, more than 8,000 factories and 1 million people who are working in this industry, which basically means 1 million families.
Yeah, of course.
So I think it is a wonderful initiative to ban plastic, but I personally feel that phasing out would be much more win-win situation, where if plastic bags, single-use plastic is banned, and then as we mentioned about the thickness, normally single-use plastic bags are like 15 micron, whereas the thick plastic bags, which normally we use as multiple for more than one time. I mean, like you get it in Europe, you get it in different stores, duty-free shops, etc. They are multiple use plastics, and that is more safer. It's like 50 micron in thickness. So maybe industry, I mean, like if if there is a discussion with the industry, so that they are also willing to take it out and then slowly take out from the market, and multiple use plastic is used more frequently as compared, and then ultimately that should also be phased out. I mean, like
thank you very much for saying that, because that's where I was coming. That, ladies and gentlemen, I think that what we need to do is that we really need to come down to a point where we need to decide whether is there any kind of plastic which can actually be used. I mean, if we talk about alternates as well, I mean, any form or any kind, or whatever scale sir was telling about, is there any possibility that we can do that? That's one thing which I would love to ask right after the break. But before we go towards the break, there's one more thing which I'm going to ask Ma'am Iram, and that is that, we all know that people are very well aware these days. It's not that the majority does not know what to do and what not to do. If people can go and buy bags from all the brands, LV and Gucci and Stella McCartney and whatnot, I personally think that, spending, how much is it for?
This is for 650.
650 rupees, ladies and gentlemen. You can wash it, you can throw it, your kids can play with it, do whatever. So imagine for all of those women who can actually buy 200,000, 100,000 rupee bags, I think that you can probably invest in it too as well. But very quickly, now sir actually mentioned about duty-free bags and whatnot. Even those are plastic bags. But since it says duty-free on it, we're so happy to keep it with ourselves, so that every time we're going somewhere, we're going to carry that bag. Don't you think that adding such a value to a product of plastic which actually stays with you can actually be of help?
Yes, of course. Look at this. Look at the material. Look at the material. This is lifetime buy. Okay. Look at the pockets,
It's
the
so
size.
handy,
You
yeah.
can use it for putting your vegetables or your grocery, your...
Even my 4-month daughter can fit
yeah,
in.
yeah.
It's a life partner.
Yeah, it's a life partner. Unless and
Exactly.
until you cut it with a scissor, it's not going to, you can't destroy it,
Exactly.
otherwise.
Right.
So it's there for 650, and you know, like this 650, which may mean a lot to you. Oh my God, this is just a bag.
Yeah.
But this is not just a bag.
Yeah.
Because this bag is for the whole family. And this bag is supporting one family too. So we need to, propagate this thing that be Pakistani, buy Pakistani, and of course, we have to bring the change
Exactly.
ourselves, and starting from our own homes. We just can't sit here and talk about it and go back to the
I've got my
designer
bag
whom
with
you
me.
mentioned.
I've got my bag with me. Ladies and
Thousands
gentlemen,
and 2000s
this is my
of
bag over here.
Yeah, so instead of taking the names of all these designers, you could have said, buy a bag for
should
Bazita
have.
Trust, for Gomis.
Yeah, that's what I said, that, if we can add value to the products we are selling, I mean, even if they are made out of cloth, ladies and gentlemen, people will buy it. I mean, for example, just imagine, even if this was a cloth bag where it said LV on all over
There
it,
are
don't you
tote
think that
bags.
people will buy it? People will buy it for sure. That's the idea. But ladies and gentlemen, we have to head out towards a short break, and in between this break, I'm actually going to request my producer and researcher to actually look for a video where it's a video how Singapore recycles their garbage as well in the waste management system. If we are able to get our hands on it, we'll definitely share it with you. But once you guys are going to come back, we're actually going to ask you if there's any better alternative within the plastic regime. Let's do that, okay? Good
Stay
morning.
tuned. Welcome back to Well This Morning with Shahzad Khan and Shaza Hashmi on a beautiful Friday morning where we are learning about plastic pollution and how to avoid it. Here's a very interesting news, Shahzad. So a female student from Karachi University, the Food and Tech Department, if I'm not really wrong, she managed to produce a type of plastic that is edible. And if you're not willing to eat it after use, you can dissolve, just put it in water, it will dissolve. She made it out of mango seeds. How interesting is that? I mean, definitely there are other ways to produce plastic, right? You don't always have to stick to polythene bags.
Exactly.
But I feel like this is a little questionable.
Yeah. There has been a recent development, ladies and gentlemen, about the bag I was carrying. But before I move on to that, there's one more thing which I wanted to add to Shahzad. That, ladies and gentlemen, there has been, there are people, I do not certainly know from which country, but I've seen this video, so I'm actually going to let you know about it as well, that there is a solution and there's an alternate for those plastic bottles as well for water which we consume on daily basis. So what they've done is that they've actually made a pouch kind of thing of where there's water inside, and what you do is you just put it inside your mouth and it goes away. So there's a solution. But while we were on break, our very amazing guest, they did held back and they said that the bag you're carrying might not even be biodegradable as well. So I thought that it is made of cloth and I can feel it. So I think what we're going to do is that we're just going to do a little test, because they said that this is synthetic. So if it's synthetic, it's just going to get together. But if it is made of cloth, I believe it's going to catch fire. So let's see where
in both cases it will take fire, but then ultimately
but the product will be different.
Oh yeah, it's getting together. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, my guests were right. Yeah. So even this bag is not any good, but I'm going to keep it with me so that I can use it. I'm not going to throw it away.
But it's not single use; it's multiple use. So I think it's comparatively safer.
Okay, now that's great. But I'm very sorry that I'm going to change my question because while we were on break, ladies and gentlemen, we've actually discussed quite a lot of things. So now the bags which are actually issued by the government of Pakistan, and you have to be very honest about it. Do you think that those are the right bags to be used by people, or the right material? Because I never knew, as a layman, I never knew that this bag was even not biodegradable. So the bags issued by the government of Pakistan.
Yeah, I think it was not issued by the government of Pakistan. Some private firm actually just put logo of the Ministry of Climate Change on those bags, and the ministry knew it at a later stage. They were distributing it.
The ministry themselves.
Yeah,
issued by the government of Pakistan.
Yes, but then ultimately when they knew, there is a committee now already which has been formed, and they are going into the investigation.
All right.
But the firm which was manufacturing those bags, they were giving it free to the ministry, but they were also selling it. So they were making money out of it as well. And when we talk about, alternates, as you were very proud to use this bag.
I was earlier.
No, I think
until you burst his bubble.
But there are many people who actually get this kind of misleading information.
Exactly.
And we have to be very careful about it, that whatever we are using, whether it is really a good alternate or we are creating another problem, and we'll be discussing in 25-30 years later that this is not environmental friendly, etc.
Right.
So I think best option, maybe we'll have a later discussion, is these jute bags. We have seen in Bangladesh, we have seen in many other countries where they are just refusing using plastic.
Yep.
But here the industry is already so strongly built, people are associated. We need to actually look for phasing out kind of situation, as we were just discussing about some of the SRO that Moby was mentioning, that phasing out is the option. At the moment we are talking about polythene bags, and then at later stages I think there are a few others which we will be considering to phase out.
All right.
So it's amazing because at least we have to start somewhere, right? So we are on the right track. Yes. But coming to you, Ma'am Iram, since you are working very closely with the groups who are involved in producing these bags, and this was on the 14th of August, actually, or even after that, when the government of Pakistan requested the beggars in the streets or even transgenders who indulge in begging to actually sell these bags and make money out of it, which is amazing. But how sustainable is it? I mean, if we're looking probably months or years down the lane, is anyone actually going to stick to it for that long?
Of course they are. Look at the population of Pakistan. So how many groups, how many factories are making these bags?
Right.
And of course you need to train them.
Okay.
You just can't let them use any material and be do substandard stitching and things like that. So I think organizations like ours or NGOs, they need to support these beggars or anybody
Right.
out there who wants to make an honest living and train them. That is exactly what we are doing at Bazicha Trust. And look at the population of Pakistan. So we need loads of people involved in this.
Exactly,
Absolutely.
and that's
And-
great. And initially when the initiative was being taken, there was a report and there was this news out there that for all of those people who were actually begging on the streets were allowed to sell these bags. And I believe that this is a very humane idea, for all of those people who were actually habitual of asking for money. Now they can actually give value in exchange as well. But right now, ladies and gentlemen, before going towards the break, we said that we are actually going to share a video from Singapore where they actually have a great waste management system as well. So please go ahead, take a look. And even the air which they're producing, after burning all of that material is inhalable.
Oh, wow.
Let's do this.
Let's
Please
learn.
go ahead, take a look.
500 years. Collects trash, burns it, creates electricity, filters out the smoke, hides the ashes underwater, and makes this trash bag disappear in 1 day instead of 500 years.
So, ladies and gentlemen, for all of those people, for all of those think tanks, we believe that we've actually given you a solution. And now it's your choice to adopt it or not. But imagine that having one incineration plant can actually help us so much that we can actually get rid of all the waste, not just plastic, all of those waste, and have a good waste management system.
No, absolutely. And Shazad, it's all about educating. I mean, we definitely are playing our part because PTV is where we educate you. But other than that, I mean, in your surroundings as well, in the people that you meet, the friend circle that you have, you need to educate as well. So coming back to you again, ma'am.
Yeah, so we've just been gifted these bags
we have
by the
gifts now.
Frederick Noman Foundation as well. Thank you very much, Miss Momi. I'm going to use it. Yes.
All right, so here's the thing. In terms of, educating, of course, you have access to this, some less fortunate segment of the society, let's say, who are very late in jumping onto the new, probably trends or, learning new things. So definitely you have sort of brought them on the table to make these, yes. But when we're looking at plastic, I mean, every other snack that we buy, it comes in a plastic bag or a plastic bottle. And I'll be very honest, I don't think we're going to curb that right at the moment and be like, overnight we'll get rid of them. It's not possible. But least we can do is educate them. Are you onto that first of all? And how are they taking it? What's the response?
Of course, the response is very good. Videos like these are easily accessible. So we need to involve the youth. You see, all the ministries need to work together and educating the masses. There are so many different types of plastics. We have been discussing it. I'm sure you have been enlightened as
Yes,
well.
yes.
And I'm really, lucky. I find myself fortunate enough to be a part of their group. I get to learn so much. So we educated class. If we are learning now about this thing, don't you think it's a role of the education ministry that from school level, our children need to know the snacks which they are having are hazardous for all the, marine life, the animals. And kids are really innocent. They love animals. So we need to inculcate these habits from a very young age. So once the demand lessens, and automatically, the supply will lessen too.
That's true. That's true.
All right, and I'll add on to that as well and move on to you, ma'am. And speaking about all of these snacks which we buy, and obviously these plastic bags, I believe, are more dangerous than the bags we use anyways as well. But these organizations and these manufacturing plants are huge. The people are very, I must say, influential. And do you think that the government will actually be able to make sure that these people are going to stop using these plastic products? How do you think that we'll be able to find a way around that?
So I have attended the meeting which was held because we were called as for consultation, and Dr. Ijaz was also there.
All right.
What the advisor actually shared was that under this particular policy, what they want to do is that at a later stage, because it is incremental, they have right now banned polythene, and later they would like to actually ban more plastic packaging and other things. As I said earlier as well, some of the plastic is inevitable. For example, the one which is used in the medical, sector. So in that, when you talk about, whether the packaging will be banned or not, basically there's another clause in that where they say that the manufacturer will have to be responsible from manufacturing to use till collection of that. So actually maybe at a later stage, and this is also a message for those running these companies, to know that it will come in future where they will be actually either fined if they do not take care of the waste, and they will have to actually manage. So it's better that they resort to more biodegradable sort of packaging. And as you were mentioning, I would like to highlight that there is no biodegradable plastic. In 18th century, actually the first ever, it was not called plastic then, but the first ever product which was as durable as plastic, it was made out of organic material. It was only in early 19th century that there was a scientist, we would not like to give him any medallion, but he actually came up with this product from synthetic material. So the plastic that we use now is all synthetic. The products that are coming out even internationally out of corn and other vegetables, those are biodegradable materials. And we need to actually also invest in universities to sort of, do these researches. And as we were talking about whether the kind of plastic bags ministry is distributing, first of all, it is not job of ministry to give alternative. This is an opportunity for people to jump onto, look at our economy, and we need to actually promote SMEs. And this is a very good, I would actually, congratulate Bazicha Trust that they have actually taken up this opportunity, and especially for the marginalized sector of this society.
And supporting families
exactly. And this is an SME, small, businesses that you need to promote. So I think first of all, it is not job of the Ministry of Climate Change, but it is job of another ministry to actually promote SMEs in this regard. And let's give incentive to, students to have startups. We know there's a culture of startup nowadays. So give them incentive. And there are people doing this job for last 2-3 years. But the issue is plastic is subsidized, organic materials are not. So this also has to, because in 80s when plastic came into in Pakistan, and when they were trying to, so it was just that they subsidized it then and not now.
That's great. Well, thank you very much for being with us. It was lovely to have you and to have been indulged in a conversation which was very enlightening. And obviously, ladies and gentlemen, I learned quite a lot. And while we were having this conversation, I think I'm going to tap into this industry myself as well, and I'm going to make sure that I'm actually going to have a plant of my own where I'm going to make sure that we're not going to produce plastic, but we'll have an alternative as well. I think that this is the right time to do it.
All right, so Shahzad, the least we can do towards the end of the show, I think we both take a pledge.
Shahzad Chopper wala. Something like
we take a pledge that from now, although we haven't been doing it since 14th or even before that, but from now on, I am not going to indulge in the use of plastic bags in any form, and I hope you're going to do the same.
No, I do the same, obviously. That's why I was carrying a bag, but now finally, ladies and gentlemen, we have got better bags as well.
All right. So
and all my things can fit in this bag. That's all I carry.
All right. So if you plan to do the same, please write us on a Facebook page with the name of
World This Morning.
On Twitter.
World This Morning without a G.
YouTube.
PTV Wall and then World This Morning.
Yeah, and the repeat you can catch
it. Before the repeat, ladies and gentlemen, we have a page on Instagram as well, which is World_This Morning. The repeat's going to be at 5 past 11 p.m. tonight. Till the next time, look after yourselves. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you well much.